You were actually at the very first water birth in the US.
The first water birth in the United States was in 1980. I was in a supermarket and I saw one of the, tabloid newspapers, the National Enquirer. There was a picture of a woman in a tub of water and a baby coming out. And I got closer and I picked it up, and it was about Igor Charkovsky in Russia supporting women to give birth into water. He was a physiotherapist. He had a premature baby at one point, his wife did, and he put them both in water. He thought, since it was in water before, which makes total sense to me, that it would thrive in water with the mother, and it did. One of his thoughts was that you could produce super athletes if they came from water into water. I think that being born from a known environment to the unknown, which is outside mother's body, but still in a known environment, is actually, according to Joseph Chilton Pearce and many psychologists, is the best matrix for learning, to move from the known to the unknown and be able to refer back to the known. So if you come from water into water, still receiving oxygen and nutrients through the umbilical cord, it gives mother a chance to, because those final rushes are enormous amount of energy. And then mother can take her baby, or father can receive the baby and then put the baby into mother's arms, which is what happened in the very first water birth. That baby was underwater for 20 minutes and he was totally blissful.
So this is interesting because Andri's one concern about our baby being born into water is that the baby would actually breathe in or swallow chlorine, all the chemicals that are in the water. So we're like, we need to filter an entire, swimming pool worth of water to keep the baby safe. But you were telling me that that's actually not the case, that the babies don't breathe and they don't swallow anything when they're under the water. It's like, how can a newborn baby survive for 20 minutes?
Air on the skin is what triggers a mammal to take a breath. So if you're still in the water, there's no impulse to breathe. The impulse is, and you don't have to shake a baby, you don't have to rub it, you don't have to turn it up and hold it upside down and slap it in order to get it to breathe. Yeah. They breathe. They start playing with the breath. I call it murfling sometimes, The thing is that it might swallow, but because they do swallow amniotic fluid. And for that first birth, we actually we filled an entire hot tub with bottled water. But you can filter the water that comes into the tub if you're concerned about the chemicals that people use to purify water in a city environment. Not a problem.
So I want to go back to what you mentioned about not having to shake the baby or turn it upside down, slap it, because that's what, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure I was born that way. Our generation, anyone who was born in a hospital in those days, they were taken from the mother. They were shaken. They were, basically handled quite roughly, right? Yeah. And your entire work, your life's work,
is
basically all about teaching people how breath can change their mind. So I want to go back into how this idea started, or like where it originates from.
The first breath, that first breath, if we're startled into it, causes the lungs to open very quickly. And they're right here in the heart space, in the heart chakra. And they almost explode. And then valves open, other ones close in the heart. And the blood flow in the body completely changes to set up all the major organs coming online. We only, in the womb, the nervous system, the brain and the heart. Heart first, then the brain, then the nervous system develops. Those are the active major systems. All the other organs are not operational. They're not needed. Mother is breathing for the baby. The little lungs are like, little balloons, just flaccid, not working. So if you blast them open, it's shocking. And that's what happens for most babies. In those few moments, they're also cutting the cord. I've seen babies born with not cutting the cord until well after the placenta has been delivered, because it's not necessary. But as long as the placenta is attached in any way, baby is receiving an oxygen and nutrients. Nothing's changed, except they get to unfold in the water, and they get to be met with loving hands.